Okay, so now I am on the boat deck. This is the highest point on the ship, or one of the highest. And I'm heading towards, actually, you know what? Alright, so this is the boat deck. And I'm heading towards the front of the ship. This is like the bridge and all of this. And just kind of walking here and like looking at these windows, it has a very, very strong it looks just like the Titanic. And I actually found this out earlier today. The Queen Mary is actually basically the granddaughter of another famous ship called the Lusitania. This ship was built by the Cunard Line. And yeah, so it's basically like the granddaughter of the Lusitania, which sunk in 1915, 1916, somewhere around there. But this ship is like, the Lusitania was sunk by a U-boat. But if you walk on the Queen Mary, it's actually not, the design of the Queen Mary is very similar to that of the Lusitania. So it's just like walking on the Lusitania. Oh, and just to point it out, if any of you guys hear anything or see anything odd, because like I said, this ship has a reputation for being super haunted, let me know. Let's take a look. Radio room, the bridge, officers' quarters. Just one of the massive lifeboats. And this is the port side of the ship. Starboard is right, port is left. This is the bridge. And obviously it's locked where it's so early in the morning. But what these are the telemotors. So the captain would actually adjust these, and what it would do is it would send a signal down to the engine room to do whatever command that the captain just set. That's what all steamships of that time did. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's the front. Now, I don't know if the Queen Mary had it, but the Titanic did. And they're called telecommands, or telemotor commands. And basically what that was if, like, take it in the Titanic movie as a prime example. The Titanic showed up, or the iceberg showed up, and the Titanic was heading, well, they yelled hard to starboard, but the iceberg was actually on the Titanic's right side. So a lot of people like to point out, oh, did the Titanic just sail right into the iceberg? Actually, it did not. Back then, it's kind of like opposites, or it's exactly opposites. Back then, what they did was they had to turn a ship to starboard, and then once they did that, the ship would turn to port. There was a video by an unfortunate YouTube channel, I believe, Right Side, I think. But anyway, they try to make it out like all these other, that they made a mistake, they steered into the iceberg, blah, 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 blah. They did not. It was just how ships of that time worked. I don't know if the Queen Mary worked like that, but it might have. Here I'm doing a loop around. I'm looping around the front of the ship. So this is the very front. I don't know if I can get down there this early in the morning. You have to go through another area, like to the interior of the ship to get into it, to get down to the bow. Oh. And this is the captain's quarters. A good chunk of the ship is closed right now, where it's so early in the morning. You can get in here into all these places during the day, sure. Yeah, closed. And here's one of its massive funnels. When I say massive, I mean massive funnels. This really does have the feeling of Titanic. Just kind of the way the whole ship is laid out and designed. Very cool. And what's really eerie is I am completely alone here. I have been walking around this ship. I've seen a couple of people here and there, but... Oh, this is the wireless room. I didn't see this earlier. So this is where they communicated with the world. That might be a yeah, it wouldn't have been Marconi wireless at that point. The same equipment that Titanic used. This looks like standard radio equipment. Oh, ham radio. Interesting. Communication stuff. That is a little freaky that there's a chair just sitting right there in the middle of the room like that. It's a little eerie. Walking around further aft. Now, actually, I completely missed this section of the ship earlier. I did not come up here earlier. So now I am on the starboard side of the ship. I took a really good tour yesterday. And I asked the tour guide if there were ever any intentions to get the ship sailing again. He said absolutely not. One of the deals that they had with Cunard Line when they bought the ship was to make sure that it would never run under her own power again. And I don't know if you can see it because it's really dark right now. I'll come back and shoot again during daytime. But there is a wall right here. Hey, bird. There's a wall right here that actually blocks the waves of the Pacific from making the ship go up and down, which doesn't always work. I didn't feel it much, but I did feel it in my room. And now I'm heading more towards the stern again. I'll head inside here in a minute. I don't know if I'll go all the way to the back. And where those lights are, well, I'll get a better shot of it later. Alright, I'll resume rolling with something when I'm somewhere interesting.